Howdy folks, welcome to the 3D Sapiens Road Show. Your host Dan Davis here again. Okay, so we are back on the spirituality program, the introductory episode, although it's now going, this is part D, so this is the fourth part of it. Alright, so last episode I basically summarized as quickly but kind of comprehensively as I could to give you more of an idea of what exactly I'm talking about, but without getting into too much detail. And again, my apologies for how long it took, but pretty much every sentence or paragraph or whatever in there could become a whole episode in itself, and at some point I'll be doing stuff like that with the show. But okay, so the part that I wanted to get to right now that I didn't get to last time was the movies and metaphors, because the way I was describing it with science and whatever, maybe that helps, maybe not, but one thing that helps people a lot is our movies and such. So let me start with that. Now, one example that was given, actually, that I gave in this book, talking about Jesus and talking about the house of God. Now, you know, he says, my house has many rooms, or 1,000 rooms, or whatever it is. Okay, well, so you can picture God's universe, whatever, the universe, at God's house as a big house, where all the different religions are like different rooms. And some of the New Thought religions are more like hallways and stairways where you can move around and poke and peek and whatever into the different rooms. But then other times you got people stuck in the one room, and they think that that one room is God's house. This is God's house. It's like, no, but yeah, but no, it's not the whole house, but it is a room in the house, so, you know, kudos on that. But it's not the whole house. You need to look around. You need to be eclectic, as I talked about. But again, every room is precious. Every room has got a message. Every room, you just have to strip away the cultural decor, the cultural window dressing, the cultural baggage, and get to what really matters. Now, instead of a house, I prefer the metaphor of a body. Just like our body, or a cell, you know, our bodies are made up of something like 50 trillion cells, and, well, bacteria and fungi and whatnot, all the other little critters in various kingdoms. They may like outnumber us by, I don't know, 5 to 1 or something, our human cells. So all these other critters we have living inside of us. Anyway, we're our own little planet walking around of critters. So any cell in the body could be similar to our soul, which I talked about the last episode. Not the body necessarily, but the soul, being a cell in the body of the God, of the universe, of whatever you want to call it, of whatever reality exists. So we're like a cell in the body of this thing, which is why you have laws of karma, stuff like that. If you do something to somebody else, you're in this whole thing together. So if you do something to somebody else, it's going to be coming back on you. So, now, I'm not talking necessarily a physical connection like the AWA thing, kind of like, hello, AWA, hello, oh, message. Yeah, hey, this is Daniel Davis again. Could you give me a call back? I've been trying to reach you. We need to talk. Like, these chemtrails up here, I'm thinking maybe some, like, Ikran up there, you know, in the engine. It's something like that. Anyway, contact me when you can. Thanks. Talk to you later. Bye. Okay, so maybe it's not that physical of a connection, but you get the point. Stuff comes back on you. Alright, so it's like the Force, Luke and Matthew and Mark and John and everybody else, like the Force. Okay, like in Star Wars, they talk about the Force. The Legend of Bagger Vance talks about the field. You see the field where the tides and the seasons and the whatever coming together, everything's coming together. It's like this flowing energy thing. Now, that idea of force, keep in mind the excerpt that I read last time, the quote by Max Planck, of the last episode, where he talks about there's a force, there's a something holding these things together. And so when I heard that force, I'm thinking like Force in Star Wars and whatever. So that's another one that can help you. And there is something, it can be harnessed if you've done the muscle testing thing where you pulled something up and you have somebody, because I've done that with people a lot, and it's amazing every single time. So mind-boggling. So I'm not going to even argue that one anymore. I'm just telling you, here's what I see. So, okay, finally, my favorite, and I think it's mine, I think I came up with it. My favorite metaphor here is as a rental car. Because essentially this body is nothing but a rental car. This bag of skin and bones is nothing but a rental car. When you check out, when the spirit gets out of the car and finally goes, the car will be staying behind and will become parts. It'll become part of the junkyard of the dirt. Okay? It's going to go to the parts thing. It's going to get disassembled. So don't get hung up on this. Ideally, what you need to get at, and this is where the nomadic lifestyle helps, because you're not around mirrors very much. But when you can get to the point where you walk into a bathroom or whatever, full-length mirror, and you see it, and wow, it's like, oh, okay, well, okay, good rental car, thank you. You know, that's where you're at, because it's not about the body. Instead, what happens? People, I talked about last time, comparing yourself to the neighbors or the Joneses or whoever. It's not about the stuff, okay? It's not about comparing yourself to Dharma. It's not about comparing your stuff. What you need to realize is that it's about the driver inside. So when you are decorating yourself, when you're concentrating on the stuff and your body and all that other stuff, be it jewelry, tattoos, and all that, no offense, and you know, if it works for you, great, and whatever. But so far, based on what I've seen, all that stuff, anything that goes with the body, expensive clothes, which again, this is where I thought, I got this in 90, it was a Christmas present, 90, 91. These pants I've had since, I don't know, 20 years ago or something. About the only thing I buy new is when things wear out, you know, socks, underwear, shoes, that kind of thing. Very, very little, because it's not about the stuff. This is why, like the hair, this is practicality, folks. This is keeping warm, this is keeping the mosquitoes off my neck, and so on. And there's also been studies about longer hair and spirituality, but I won't even get into that right now. At any rate, this is not an ego thing. Anything I do is not an ego thing. It's just, I started to get into that on one of the parts, part A, I think, and I didn't even know where to end, because it's so completely opposite end of the spectrum. It's not about ego. Like pride, it's not about pride. Pride should be about gratitude. Gratitude that happened, that you got that you did that you were able to accomplish that, and all that other stuff. So it's not about the stuff. So when people are concentrating on their body with the clothes and the image and the jewelry and the cosmetics and all that other stuff, within a point. I mean, I can understand when you need it sometimes and so on, and there's jobs and whatnot, but generally speaking, you should not need that stuff. Because it's the equivalent of taking your rental car and putting a cool paint job on it and getting the cool tires and the thread and the nice engine and the chrome and all that stuff on a rental car that you're going to be giving back, for Christ's sake, or God's sake, or whatever. Anyway, it's a rental car, folks. Don't get hung up on it, all right? And again, this is where the nomadic lifestyle, this is perfect for this, because you learn what's important. Now, another reason, it's kind of like Avatar, not just with the connection, but another reason I like the movie. With this rental car, that kind of blends into the rental car idea. But instead of a rental car, you got the body like an avatar, right? Where the person in the normal human world, he's the human, but he goes into the machine that looks like suspiciously like an MRI, or whatever. Goes into one of those things and connects to the avatar body, and zap, he's in the avatar body. That's just like what happens from the pre-life, life, afterlife, to the next life, to the afterlife, to the next life, every time you go back and forth like that, it's going to be, as near as I can figure, it's going to be like Avatar, but instead of being just on one planet, Pandora, in one body. You only get to go one time. You go into that body, you have a great time. If you're smart, or you can worry about, oh my god, I gotta leave this body, it's so important. You can do that and just waste away your life. Or you can just say, hey, cool, alright, so I'm here, let's check it out, man. And go explore, man. Check it out, check out life, okay? That's what you're here. And then, when it's over, get back in the machine, go to the next life. Another world, another body. Cool, check it out, man. This is what it's all about. It's about learning, it's about enjoying life, it's about, sucking the marrow of life, so to speak. That's what it's about. It's not about this body, because this body is just a rental car. Okay, you're gonna give it back. Now you can stop and smell the roses, and you definitely need to stop and. This is where there's all kinds of metaphors that blend into the whole rental car idea, and I will be talking about them at length in various other things. But for now, just try to remember that when you look in the mirror, that's not you. That's your rental car. So conclusion. Once again, sorry for the length. This one's already going on, I don't know, 11 minutes, 12 minutes. But again, discovering what life is really about, that should be, hopefully this is worth the exploration, worth your time. One last thing that's kind of tied to this, but I was going to do it a separate thing. I'll probably do it as a separate program, not as an introductory thing anymore. But I just want to kind of let you know what's coming up. The next spirituality program will probably be my rendition of John Denver's Country Roads. Because, see, one of the things, I'm not terribly good with original music and whatnot. I've got a few licks of my own, and I mean, in this book here, there's poetry, lots of poetry, so I can do poetry, but putting them together has not been my forte ever. But one thing I can do is I could take a song and scramble, do some stuff with the words, and turn it into something more apropos for the venue that I'm playing at. John Denver, I did a song about Romania, in English, but about Romania. Take me home, oh Tarom. Anyway, to the place I belong, to Romania, Transylvania, take me home to Brasov. Anyway, I did a John Denver version of that. That'll probably be the next thing coming up. And then after that, it'll be more of the quick topics. Like I was saying, every sentence or paragraph could be its own topic. That'll be what I'll do. I'll probably just go back through here and just start in order and just take the first topic and explain it a little bit more at length, 5 or 10 minutes, and those will be the different individual spirituality programs here on YouTube on this 3D Sapiens Road Show. And all these various lessons will be going into books and presentations and whatnot, like my 3D Ramets presentations, and the books that I'm writing, like Universal Spirituality, Post Shift, and so on. So I would definitely appreciate your feedback. Again, this is not an ego thing. Is this working? Does something not make sense? Do you need more clarification? Feedback. So that's always appreciated, because that's my dharma, is education. I've got these health things that help me be in great shape for a 54-year-old. I've got my spirituality, which helps me get through anything. I got a lot of information to pass on. That's my dharma. So whether you tune in here or read my books or come see the presentations or whatever, hope it's working for you. Hope it helps. And as I keep saying, I hope to see you out here sometime. I'm always looking for people to talk to, interviews, and things to do and whatnot. But anyway, for now, thanks again for tuning in. And I hope this means you're actively searching your soul. Stay tuned.